Hello ladies. So today we are going to make just regular sandwich bread. So this is just an easy white bread. It's not super time consuming and we're just going to do a double batch of it. So to start with, we're going to do 7 cups of flour in a kettle like this. So I already got our flour in here. So if you're going to do a double batch, you want 7 cups of flour. If you just want to make a single loaf, then you're going to just do 3.5 cups of flour. So now with this flour, we're going to stick it in our preheated oven. So just turn your oven on to warm, let it heat up, and then turn it back off. And then you're going to stick your flour in your kettle into the oven for about 30 minutes to heat up the flour. So we're going to go ahead and stick this in here. And we're going to leave it for about half an hour and come back to it. So I will see you when we come back. Hello. Okay, so we are back and our flour is now all heated in 30 minutes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make a small well in the middle of your flour. So once you got your small well, my towel, we're going to add our next ingredients. So we're going to start with 3/4 of a teaspoon of yeast. And we're going to put that in the middle of our well. And then we're going to do the same with salt. 3/4 of a tablespoon of salt. Tablespoon, not teaspoon. Sometimes they can get confusing. So we got our salt, got our yeast. We're going to add 1/3 cup of sugar into our little well there. And then we're going to have 2/3 cup of melted butter. And again, you're just going to put that into the well of your flour. And next we want 2.5 cups of warm water, not cold water. You want to make sure it's fairly warm. So bear with me here while I get my water. 1, 2, and then 1/2. So now we have 2.5 cups of water. So that's all of our ingredients. And now I'm going to take off my ring. What we're going to do is we're going to, from the edge of the pan, mix our flour into our wet ingredients. So we are going to slowly, it's going to get messy too, by the way. So you slowly work from the outer edges and come in until you get that nice bread consistency. And again, it's going to get all over your hands. It's going to make a mess. That is the fun of from scratch bread. So, and again, make sure your hands are clean before you start this. And I guess if you're really weird about textures, you can use gloves. Never really bothered me, so we're just going to do this. And this is going to be about 10 minutes of this. We're going to just knead all the liquid into our flour. And again, you're going to have to stop and clear off your hands because it's going to stick to you. And keep kneading until you've got all the flour in the bottom mixed in. You don't want no stray flour. So we are going to continue that. So this is where you get your workout in. It's keep kneading. It always wears me out making bread, but it's so worth it. This is my mother-in-law's recipe. I always call it Karen bread, but my husband's favorite. He likes it just warm with like butter and honey on it. I'll go through a whole loaf pretty quick. So a lot of times I'll make like 3 loaves at one time. But today we're just doing a double loaf. I was feeling like some sandwich bread. Okay, so as you can see, we've got it mostly to dough consistency now. We've got all our liquids mixed in. Get that all off there so I can show you. So, and you can see we got a bread texture. So I'm going to knead this just a little bit more, and then I'm going to wash it, and we're going to come back, and I will show you what to do next. So a good rule of thumb is just knead about 10 minutes. So, and I obviously have not been kneading 10 minutes, but I won't make you watch me knead for 10 minutes. So we'll take a short break, and I'll be back. Okay, so we needed all our ingredients in for about 10 minutes. I didn't make you watch me my whole 10 minutes. But now what we're going to do is now knead our dough for another 10 minutes. So you are just going to want to get in there with your knuckles and your fingers and just get it all mixed in. You're going to do this for another 10 minutes. So again, get nice workout here. And I will be back when our 10 minutes are up. Okay, so now we have sufficiently kneaded our bread. And what we're going to do is I floured a cutting board here. You could just do it on the countertop if you want. And we are going to just turn out our bread onto it and kind of knead it a little bit. Make it a little round ball, whatever shape you want, honestly. So we're just gonna stick our little loaf here like this. And now we're just gonna cover it. I got a little towel here. We're gonna cover it for about 10 minutes. Let it raise a little bit. So we will come back in 10 minutes. If you notice with this bread, is a lot of 10-minute increments. So I won't make you watch my whole hour long taken with this bread. I'll just give you the highlights and we'll be back in 10 minutes to check on our bread. So, hello. Okay, so we're back and our 10 minutes are up. And what we're going to do next, see, we got old girl's got a little bounce in it now. So we are going to just separate our dough. Since we're doing 2 loaves, we're just going to split it in half like this. And then you want to knead each side. Make sure there's no air bubbles in it. And then you're going to form it into a loaf. So make sure we got no air bubbles. Really get in there. And then we're just going to make a nice little loaf shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be pretty. So then we do the same with the next one. Don't want no air bubbles. So you can see they're just about the same size, which is what you want. And you're going to form this into a loaf. So we're going to tuck it under a little bit like that. Pen down. There we go. So now we have our 2 loaves ready, and we are going to cover them again. You're going to let them sit under the cover for about an hour because you want them about double in size. That's about an hour that we're going to take. So while we're waiting on that, we are going to spray our pans and get them prepped. So just a little nonstick spray, and we're going to set those aside. And now we're going to leave our bread, and we'll come back in an hour, and it'll be ready to go in the oven. So I will see you then. Hello. So we're back now, and it's been about an hour. So we're going to check on our bread. You can see we doubled up a bit there. So now it's ready to go into our pans that we have already sprayed. So first what we're going to do is you're just going to pick it up like this. You're going to just form it into the pan. And same with this one. We're just going to stick it in just like that. Now we have our bread in our pans, and we're going to put it in the oven. So we already have our oven preheated to 350, and we're going to put this in for about 50 minutes. So we're going to put this in, and I will show you the finished product when we're all done. Hello. So we are back. It's been about 50 minutes, and our bread is now done. So this is our banana bread from earlier. If you tuned in earlier, we made banana bread. But now our loaves of bread are done. So what we're going to do is we're just going to turn them out onto our cooling rack. Flip them over. There we go. Make sure we got enough room. We don't drop that. And ta-da! We have 2 nice loaves of sandwich bread. So as you can see, my loaves are not super pretty. I didn't spend a lot of time shaping them and making them pretty because honestly, they just go faster than it's worth it to make them too pretty. We don't care if they're ugly. We care if they are tasty. So here is your bread. And it's not too long to make. Well, I started at about 2 hours total to make this bread. So not an all-day process, not going to take you too long, but good hearty bread, homemade from scratch. And it's always a favorite around here. So hope you guys enjoy.